Man, just go for it. Even when your body says don't, when you're frustrated, just go through it. Sometimes your best work can come to you when you're literally at your most frustrated point. Just keep going. Trust your vibe. And push your craft that eventually where you know what your boundaries are. When you found your boundaries, push even harder.
Be a madman.
Exactly. And you know what? Funny we say mad, mad, motivated, ambitious, and determined. Be mad.
I love that.
Welcome to the Culture's Biggest Podcast.
A podcast about creatives in and around Johannesburg, as well as those who relocate to the big city in hopes of leaving their mark within the industry. Our aim is to bridge the gap between established creatives and aspiring creatives by providing insight into the challenges faced by creatives along their journey. The podcast delves deep into the creative pursuit and offers aspiring creatives guidance on how they could turn their passions into sustainable businesses. My name is Julian Vogue, and this is
Culture's Biggest.
And we're live, man. My name is Jules, the Culture's Biggest Nerd, and you are now tuned in to Culture's Biggest. Culture's Biggest is a platform where we sit down with some of the most brilliant minds in our creative economy. And today's guest, man, doesn't just work with culture, he architects it. Davin Phillips is an executive director at CSA Global, where he leads campaigns across 87 markets for brands like Unilever, AP and Bev, telecommunication leaders like Vodacom, MTN, and consumer brands like Stella Artois, Johnny Walker, Corona, and Hugo Boss. He's also the person building infrastructure behind Africa's creative economy, managing top-tier talent, producing award-winning content, and brand deals with giants like Sony Music. He operates at the rare intersection of global strategy and homegrown African creativity. This is a masterclass in how to move in culture and the creative economy. We are speaking to the one and only Davin Phillips. How you doing, man?
Thank you. It's quite an intro. Blushing a bit, but yeah, no, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming through, man. All the way from Cape Town. How was the flight?
It was good.
Yeah.
Caught up on some Netflix,
On the flight, what were you watching?
Tehran, ironically, with everything on Apple. We're enjoying the show. It's pretty good.
Fire, man. That's really, really dope, man. Thank you so much, man, for coming through. I am such a fan of CSI Global. I don't know how many times I've told Lindy about this because he's the plug. He's the reason you're here, and I've been trying to get you on this show. I think it's the third attempt.
No, thank you, man. And sorry, last time I know trips, but the team a big fan.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky. I've got a great team underneath, with me.
Yeah.
And they all say you have to do the show. So I'm more importantly, thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, man. So where do we start, man? The first question that I normally ask guests, I just want to find out, man, the great Davin Phillips, how do you get introduced to this space? How do you get introduced to culture?
Yeah, man, it's culture is, it's how do you feel you're being inquisitive, There's no right or wrong. I think it's about being empathetic and being a student of life, to really being honest with you.
Yeah.
Culture is generally a specific group of people, nation, or particular, should we say, habits. People are interested in a subject matter, without glorifying it, and then it's like just understanding that crew, that tribe, that vibe. You know what I mean? And more than so, and that is being a student to it, interpreting it your own way. Like any artist, you curate experiences or your interpretation of the outside world and how you observe it. So that's how I say. There's not at any level to get into it. It's just get into it, be it, and be consistent in it, to be honest.
How was your experience? Do you remember the first moments? Maybe it could have been, let's say, a song that you heard and you're like, I want to be a part of this.
Look, my journey's been an interesting one. I was grown up in it. I was grown up. I was on my late mother and founder of CSA. She did a lot in terms of bringing a lot of lead talent to South Africa, particularly when Mr. Madiba was in power, and did a lot for also the rights of children. So I was on, for Pocket Money, I was working for events or productions, or we're working on sets. We also did the show Castle Loud. And that, for example, that was a time, believe it or not, when South African music wasn't played on the radio. We actually had to buy airtime to do the top 10 because a lot of the time was actually foreign music.
Yeah.
And then we pivoted and we did jukeboxes in bars, and it was a great partnership. So
what age were you at that time?
At that age, I must have been about 16, 17.
What? And already doing all of that?
No, I mean, there I was a student, man, and there I was
Yeah.
observing. Now, I can't take the credit for that. I was just blessed
Yeah.
enough to be brought up in a dynamic family. I mean, as I say, Fran was incredible, and the other co-founder, Mark, as well. Just great, really equipped me as two great beings that gave me my kind of map and
how to navigate.
binoculars to kind of how to navigate
The industry.
the industry.
That's so beautiful. Obviously, you grew up with parents that are creatives. Did they always support your creative pursuits? Like even before you
No,
being
man.
part
Mom
of
wanted
CSA
me to be a
Global?
lawyer. I mean,
Serious?
And, I mean, I literally studied law. I think I did my first year. I wrote my final exam. I came back home
Yeah.
and I actually said, you know what? I don't want to be a lawyer. You want to be a lawyer. And I respect that, but I love
Yeah.
everything that what you guys do. I love the storytelling. It and they supported it. But as karma has it, the amount of legal I do now, a few years down. So legal's still very important, knowing your rights and your boundaries.
How did they take it at the time when you were like, okay, law is not something I want to do?
You know, observing them, they helped a lot of people. And they really made some massive impact. But sometimes I observed that when they help people cross those lines, they were forgotten about. So I think from the legal point was they wanted to set up the structure in that manner. And I think it's just protecting interests. So the legal is important. You know, sometimes people, often I say the legal is really the divorce papers. You only really look at a contract when you want to get out of it. Otherwise, it's honeymoon stage, to be honest with you. But it's important to make sure that when you want to get divorced, you got to make sure that your exit is in the right place. Your interests are protected.
Beautiful, man. So obviously you leave law and you want to tap into what your parents are doing, CSI Global. I think one of the greatest things parents hope for is for their kids to take over after they're gone, So I also want to find out some more reasons that prompted you to actually jump onto CSI Global.
I just always had a vision.
Yeah.
And it was one phase. I mean, they did PR and they did a lot of productions and events. I mean, for them, they didn't have a small shop, but it wasn't a big shop. It was they like to say, just small team. My vision was to really kind of take the founding members' vision, but to really scale it and grow it. So, I mean, I took the business across the continent, must have been about 12 years ago. And did a lot in Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Angola, Uganda, Zambia, Ethiopia, Mozambique, South Africa, and Indian Islands. And I think at that time, to be honest, there also was a bit of uncertainty where where's SA going? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of South Africans as well, where's the industry going? I think a lot of people, industry wasn't recognizing our own talent, etc. So from my side, it was just, I just saw a huge opportunity. And having been fortunate enough to also work in a lot of foreign markets and travel a lot. I always just believe that this continent is just a melting pot of creativity and we have rich storytellers. So the vision was to always just expand it, to grow it. So global, but proudly African.
I love that, man. You said you have 22 years walking this journey.
Yeah.
The vision that you initially had, do you feel like you've fulfilled it now?
I mean, there's elements of it, but I think if you're not innovating your dreams, you're not dreaming. Dreaming is to keep dreaming. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's you just have that picture. It stays still. So 100% is evolving. I think a lot of the time it's coming up with an idea or mobilizing stakeholders, going down that road and realizing, okay, wait, this isn't going to scale or this isn't going to actually be able to. So I think the older I've got, realizing to know when to pull out or when to say no or when to repivot, because sometimes you go down with the ship with the dream, but meaning you're realizing the market's not responding to the dream. So being able to observe if that answers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it really does. Before we go any further, I actually want to give the listeners sort of an overview of CSI Global. Can you give us a short, brief answer of what you guys do?
Sure.
Boards. Yeah.
So we make coffee. No, I'm just man, it's different. We've worked with a lot of multinationals where we help develop their culture and entertainment programs. And what that really means, without kind of putting a new marketing catchphrase on, is we'll either kind of run their PR or like their influencers. How do we actually scale their amplification or their brand salience?
Yeah.
And we do that by going deep into certain cultural nuances, and that can be across film, music, fashion, food, and depending where the brand wants to show.
Yeah.
Other part is, our journey is developing artists. Through that journey and just working a lot, we also identified a lot of talent in the marketplace on the continent their management don't necessarily have the right, they don't have the acumen or business. They haven't studied the kind of the legal, the framework, the business, the acumen. A lot of it's friends and family. So we identified a bit of a gap. And then a lot of talent are only making money from a hand-to-mouth eye if they're a musician, only when they perform, not realizing they could galvanize a massive audience. And once you have an audience, how do you merchandise that and grow your brand power? Much like any brand, if you know what I mean. So, and I think with what we do is I'd like to kind of say we're storytellers, but at the same time we are working in building a marketplace where the barrier of entry is there is no barrier of entry for a creative wanting to work with someone in Nigeria to South Africa to Kenya to Angola to Los Angeles to London to Italy, to really kind of showcasing that.
Beautiful.
And really bringing it all together, to be honest. I mean, there's a lot. If I say to you, what do we do? I would just say to you, we're inquisitive storytellers and we're trying to break that barrier of entry at the same time to kind of fuel and sustain the creative economy.
Beautiful, man. So you are basically at the intersection of bringing global brands to Africa, right? So I just want to find out, what do you think is the misstep that a lot of agencies are making when it comes to global brands coming into Africa without sort of like imperializing, if I could use that word? How do you make sure that you actually are carrying out an African perspective?
I'll use the analogy. It's like going to a party.
Yeah.
And you want to have a vibe, but the DJ's playing the beats that he wants to listen to. He's not building you up. He's not taking you from like a BPM of like 85 slowly to 110, like my hips are moving. And all of a sudden I find myself that I'm vibing.
Yeah.
I use that simple analogy because I think sometimes brands will show up. They take a format that might have worked in another market and they try activate it here, and it doesn't work because they haven't localized it. And it's not to say that a format like that can't work. You can take the elements of it, because if you're an international brand, you're a celebrity with your own brand in your own right. You know what I mean? Locals still want to have that aspirations. We still aspire to be part of the international community. But we love it when the international community just gives us respect and acknowledges us, of our cultural nuances.
Yes.
But then that's like, you know what, I respect you. You're coming in and you're learning about my culture and you're adapting it. That's like, and you're taking my culture and you're putting it on an international stage. I mean, that's where we see conviction and like we're conversion,
Beautiful. A recent brand partnership that you guys did was with Stella. And I saw Tapelo Mokoena was a part of it. Nomzamo was also part of it. I just wanted to give you guys props in terms of also the selection of those people, because those are very high level people, and to connect and bridge that, the two worlds, the global and the African space. Beckham is also a part of it. So I just wanted to give you guys props.
No, thank you, man. I mean, and you know what, and that's the other thing, the end of the day, I mean, Stella's a great partner of ours, and we're really, really proud to work with him, because it's been about a 5.5-6 year journey from where we've started to where we are.
Yeah.
And it's about that occasional marketing. So Stella is very much a brand that some things are worth more. And at the same time, it's also a brand which is a love archetype, deeper, meaningful connection. So it's about having a drink and connecting with people. So a lot of the talent and who we work with, they also got to have that certain nuance, if you know what I mean. It can't just be someone, there's a little bit of a deeper story, this genre of music, how we kind of show up. So, I mean, another one which was fantastic, Loiso, he's also part of the Stella family.
Yeah. Some pictures,
He wanted to do a national tour, and he hadn't done a national tour, and it was just a perfect ecosystem, because they came on board as a partner for the tour, and I think Loiso just needed that push, but he sold out, man. We sold out in Pretoria in like 4 minutes after releasing the ticket. He found the venue in Johannesburg. We had to change it to go to a bigger venue.
That's crazy.
And it was testament of just like a great partnership, what I mean? Same with Langa as well. We're doing a lot with him. I mean, he's going to have a really great year.
Langa Mafuso.
So
it's
it was just incredible. So how we kind of set up those partnerships, it's not around just like, it's got to be believable. I think for your target consumer and the audience in the day and age, particularly Gen Zs, they can see excuse my French, the bullshit on the wall.
It's all good, man.
It's got to be it's got to be believable. It's got to be authentic. And the end of the day is like, the names you mentioned, we all have our own relationship with. We follow Tupelo. We see him in movies. We see him, follow him on social. There's a certain character of him.
Yeah.
So if he's acting out of character, it's not believable. So whenever we work and we cast talent with brands, it's also about understanding the talent story, where they are with their brand. And then it's just kind of mirroring like a great partnership where they grow with each other. And it comes like really just a testament of it.
Beautiful. So take me through the process of you guys actually selecting talent. How do you guys go about it?
It's look, we have a different story, I guess, because we come from a world where we've developed talent, and we come from a world then from a brand. So there's certain nuances. Like before we put any of our brand partners, I also ask the question: is this a talent I would sign and that I would actually want to invest? And you look for certain nuances and characteristics, and like, do they have that it factor? And it's really just an element that they just need that level up. Because when we come on with our talent partners, it's not transactional. It's more than that. Like a lot of these guys, they're brands in their own right, and they want to do something. And some talent will come to us and go, I have this vision. I want to do this premiere, or hypothetically in a vision, and then we'll go, okay, great. And then we'll take that and we'll think which brands might suit that. We'll be believable, and then we'll kind of onboard the brand. So we kind of sometimes act as the conduit.
Beautiful. So you've obviously been quoted as the pioneer of the creative economy.
Sure.
I mean, you've been at it for like 22 years, man. It only makes sense. So you're obviously not a person who chases viral moments. I've seen CSI Global and how you guys move. You guys have sort of like created systems in the economy. How important do you think it is for agencies or just creatives in general to have systems around their work?
Every time anytime you chase acknowledgement, you'll never be fulfilled.
Oof, I love that.
When you want to focus and master your craft, and one thing I just put my head down. I regard my greatest competitor as myself. What is my discernment of how I judge it, and where do I see it? Where do I want to go? And it's a blessing and it's a curse, because you also got to know sometimes, like, it's good, back off, let it breathe. You know what I mean? So you don't go too much into like overanalyzing. But I would say to you that we've always innovated from the sense of when we've identified gaps, either in we've executed a body of work. It reached a certain level. We might have had the social, we've had many viral trends. We've gone number one on Twitter. We've hit front pages on newspapers, primetime news. And the thing is, we actually consistently do it. But the thing is, it's not about...
That's not what you guys pay attention to.
No, that's a byproduct. Because if you're really doing it for a reason of impact, you know what I mean, for the culture, and you're seeing a gap. And when you receive these visions, the reason people are responding in that, and the way they're just saying, it's because it's that viral. They connect, they see themselves, I often say, and look, I'll be honest with you, everything I do, I like to root it to empathy, because I find when I'm empathetic to the outcome, it allows me to also go, if it's for a brand, what is the target market and the consumer? It's not just a big brand push, but like, why do I care? You know what I mean? Why do I actually care about this brand? What is this brand going to really make a difference to me? And then I go, okay, but what is this brand solving? And another partner of ours, and I think it's a good one, for Corona, and for me, it really hit hard. I remember I was in the session. And Corona's principle is, it's all around sunset. And this is living. And the reason the insight it came from is that humans spend 95% of their lives indoors. I'll say that again, 95% of their lives indoors. And that's global insight. And when I kind of saw that, I was like, shit, man, I don't want to be a statistic. I found myself, I was walking on outside hikes, doing my cause instead of being disbound. I was like, let me go. And the thing is that you also kind of think, you know what, that's a positive message to actually put out there. You know what I mean? Because if you're actually in the forest, it's healing. If we're out in nature, we're part of this nature. You know what I mean? We're not separate from it. So, I mean, I kind of went on a tangent.
I love that perspective so much, because I've seen so many misalignment when it comes to brands and talent in so many ways. You'd see an artist who did a partnership, and you can actually tell, okay, this was done solely for money. But
And it doesn't work, man.
it doesn't work.
And
That
even,
narrative you just painted about the sunset thing just gives me that thing. Okay, these guys actually are tapped in to what's really happening.
And I mean, you see Corona, they do all their activations around sunsets.
Yeah.
You know, their festival. And for them, the talent partnerships, to be honest with you, and you touch on a point, you know, when we're doing our talent casting with them, it's you know, mindfulness. Like that's a
Love
big
that.
part of the brand, you know, connecting
Yeah.
with nature, being mindful, that is living. That is more aspiration than getting the bag.
And people can
materialism.
feel the disconnect, you know?
I've had the privilege of working in over like 85 markets. And that would be where I'd write the strategy, develop assets. So one thing it taught me is that what works in one doesn't work in the other. And I'll give you an example. In more first world markets or territories that are more urbanized, connecting with nature is much more aspirational because you're around concrete. You don't have access to nature. You know what I mean? Where we come back to South Africa, we have a lot of connection to nature.
We
but
do, yes.
It's not as aspirational because we've got so much of it. If you know what I mean. And also a lot more people, it's more from going from a rural area to an urban area, it's way more aspirational. So it has to be mindful of those certain nuances of the storytelling. But at the same time, I think a lot of people, and they say with like new money or old money, once you've gone and you buy and you bought your, you know, your Gucci and your Louis, your car, and you completely overextended, or you realize actually, you know what, the greatest gift is having time, being healthy, you know, which is actually what was given to us for free in the beginning, if you know what I mean. Why I go to that is one has to be the certain nuances where markets, where certain countries are, where it doesn't work everywhere.
Yeah, that is so beautiful, man. Something I always think of with people doing things at, you know, top level, greater scale, does it ever feel overwhelming? Do you feel like you have such a huge responsibility? Corona comes in, such a global brand. They come in, okay, we want to do this campaign. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by that responsibility?
No. I think I've run through my younger adolescence, you know, on the ego point of it. I think where it comes to now, it's really just being inquisitive, to being honest with you. And I realized in moments in life when I stopped being inquisitive, I aged and I became more rigid.
Yeah.
When I'm inquisitive, and why I can take that back to the brand, it's solving different equations and putting empathy at it. And how do you make sure that the outcome is going to have impact? If it's going to be about just creating something with a short-term commercial gain with no substance, I didn't take it on. It's not my style. It's not my vibe. I can't lie to myself, if you know what I mean. And that's what CSA, what we do. Everything is kind of, what are we doing? Is it bigger than us? And so when anyone it comes to does it, I think the more and longer I do this crafts, I realize I'm actually more of a student than I was, to be honest. So in the beginning, I had a preconceived idea. The middle, you learn, and now you're like, I just keep learning, man. And sometimes something will happen, you're like, geez, I never saw that coming. And who would have thought? You know what I mean? And that's cool. That's nice that there's still those surprises and that texture, if you know what I mean. So I could never be at a point of, I've been there, done it, seen it all. If you're in that mindset, I mean, I think you just got to have a sabbatical, maybe recharge the cells. Because culture is continuously evolving.
It is. We have obviously evolved past the old mediums of advertising. And we are currently in the new age of advertising. I just wanted to find out your thoughts in regards to influencer marketing.
Man, I love this topic. Because, you know, and I'm going to use, and I often say it when I speak, if you use traditional media as an example, traditional media has lost its function. Why I say that, and I'll give an example of the candle. The original function of the candle was to provide light. Along came electricity, but the value of a candle at a dinner, priceless. So media in the sense of, if I use print media, I would have to wake up and I'll run down to the corner store to buy my newspaper, and that's where I'd access information. But if you think of how it's done, like, you know, and now you literally roll over, click the snooze button, news comes to us. You find out about someone's passing or war there or this company or anything, it comes to you on social. You don't have to even log in, or you have an in-app notification. So where I think brands are struggling is that because we're in an age of information and there's an overload of information coming at us, how do we stand out? How do you actually get the consumer's attention? And it's concentration from like used to be 30-second adverts. Now it's 15 seconds. Now it's 6 seconds. So how do you stand out? And I think the only truth that allows brands to have relevance is culture. And brands have to now take a step back and go, okay, what is the occasion we want to go over? What is our target market and what is their interest?
I love that, yeah.
And from their interest, they can identify, okay, there's a culture. And often when we're working with brands who go, you can't be in sports, music, film, and fashion unless you have an incredible budget. It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
But if you want to be go after a particular discipline of culture, be consistent in it, give back, curate it. Bring who in your opinion is like the top certain artists, music artists, put on a show on a certain genre that you're going after. So you curate it. By curating it and being consistent, you obviously then get a voice and a place in culture because you're entertaining the culture. So like I say, what we do is we build culture and entertainment. So a culture, we're a certain nation, a community, or a certain group of people. Entertainment is just entertaining that target market. But in order to do that, I've got to understand what's the beat. I can't just go on entertainment where I'm just shouting what I want to do without understanding the cultural nuance.
The alignment, yes.
And the other thing is be consistent. Don't just come for, 1 month, show up. Oh, I want to go after music. Let's just do this. If you want to get into culture, be consistent. You got to go through it. So that's where it allows it. That's where you build your brand salience and allows brands to become believable.
There's sort of like a disconnect with some brands. What do you think is more important, right? Impact or numbers? Because you'd get a brand, they would sort of be enticed by an influencer just because they have 500,000, let's say, followers. And then on the other hand, you have someone who has impact, but they have 20,000 followers and the engagement is pretty high.
So how I interpret your question, so brand and impact, so sales or impact, if you have impact, your sales are up. Otherwise,
so
it's just vanity.
That situation,
you know what I'm saying?
20,000 or the 500,000.
I mean, it depends on the message. Look, if you're going to go for, and this is where I think the industry gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone refers to influencers as a media reach, 20,000, 500,000 or a million, and that's a qualification of the relevance of the artist or the talent or the content creator.
Yeah.
So I think if we like go into music, social media is a byproduct of the musician. If you're going to film, if you're a content creator, you're coming from a tier 3 or national journey, you're going to go into doing short film, documentaries, maybe different in long format films. That's a natural evolution of your career, if you know what I mean. When we go into, and this is where the industry, I believe, gets it wrong, it's influencer marketing like beta 0.5. I mean, we're on like 15, model 15, you know what I mean? So I understand that you got to translate it in a way where a lot of people qualify the volume of their following as credit, and it's sometimes, yes, it's merit in that. But the reason someone got to 1 million followers is because they were doing something that galvanized an audience and people stayed interested in what they had to say or do. You know what I mean? That's the reason. So keep doing what you're doing and they will come. Build it. They will come. And you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's just not. Yeah. So to answer your question, and if we go on a smaller influencer, I would rather say we work with cultural influencers. So there might be someone who's smaller and niche, but that's an easy solve.
Yeah.
Let's put some media behind him. We've got a great storyteller, great content, put some media behind him. Let's boost him. So he's got a vibe, he's got a style, something there. Yeah. This is helping build his audience. No,
beautiful. I love that. Obviously, influencer marketing has become so saturated. Every second person you meet is an influencer. Do you think there's still a future in influencer marketing in the next, let's say, 5 years, 5 to 10 years?
I think the algorithm keeps changing. I think influencer marketing, what's great about it is the barrier of entry. It used to be governed by a producer of a radio station or TV show who would be your cultural points. The reality is now you can access anyone, the same amounts of information as someone in Los Angeles, London, Sao Paulo, Japan. It's
globalization.
About globalization, self-interest, and is it my vibe?
Yeah.
For influencers, if you're going to be about literally, and I've seen it 100 times, and we always advise, if it's about just getting that contract, and this week you're with Pampers, and this next week you're with an insurance company, and then you're with a car company, you're not going to sustain. You're not going to last. I've seen it. They come, they go. There's no growth. The reason you built your following, it was either what you did, carry on what you're doing, and the brands will come because they want that audience, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If you're going to be literally just about pushing advertising and pushing just the bag, and you're thinking it's a short-term fix, unfortunately, I would say like you got a 2-year career.
Do you think there's a future though?
For influencer marketing in general,
Yeah.
100%. And I think it's evolving. I think it's matured. What I've seen in other markets is it's not based just on media reach. It's how you build the ecosystem. The reality of this is retail partners want to make sure they're stocking a product and it's moving. Brands want to make sure that the consumers are coming back and buying it. Consumers want to feel like you're part of something. If I'm wearing this vibe, I love it. It's Adidas. I love the vibe of it. If I put this on, it makes me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
What it stands for.
Yeah.
That's the story of my interaction with them. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm the protagonist of my own storyboard, much like you. We're all our own protagonists.
that,
You know what I mean? So influencer marketing, yes, as long as humans are around, it's influencer marketing has been around for ages. It's just the format. It used to be sportsmen or celebrity that used to use their name and image. It's just now they have a big direct audience.
And it's more saturated now.
It's more saturated, but that's why the product is, and it is more refined. You need to activate culture and entertainment programs. It can't be, you know, and it's interesting. You see certain headlines, few multinational nations, companies, should I rather say, they're putting, increasing their influencer budget by 45%. This year it's X millions of dollars. And then they go and they do partnerships with OpenAI, and it's because they need to push out more content. That type of influencer marketing ain't going to work. You might as well take a body of work, a creative asset, dark post it, and everyone will see it. If you're going to put it into a talent's world, it's got to have that editorial integrity.
Feel to it, yes.
That talent's posting something. You know what I mean? They have a certain story and a vibe. That's why they have a following. Allow them to be. Let them tell their story in a way that suits your brand. So that's where I think the industry is going to have to be honest. The thing of just anyone signing and going, it's not working. The niche networks in influencer marketing is also work. We're seeing a little bit of spikes in like good returns. But yeah, man, it's not going anywhere. It's only evolving.
I love that, man. I want to tap into your management, artist management side. Who are you currently managing?
So we don't manage anymore.
Oh,
No, we did management. It was a time when we were also doing a lot of developing brands. I was traveling a lot across the continent, to be honest with you. And it was particularly one artist, DJ Movado.
Yeah.
Claudia, I heard his song Uhuru. And when I heard it on high rotation, it was like when I was at the club, when I was in
Overseas?
in Africa. Across, at that time, that was between Nigeria, Ghana, Angola, Mozambique, and South Africa.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to Claudia, I was like, Claudia, man, your song's doing so well. And he was like, yeah, but I haven't even made $1. And then it kind of hit me, and I was like, wow.
There's a disconnect right there.
You know, I don't, and also brands, you work with brands and sometimes you develop their market share. And I kind of thought, you know what, let's go after the talent. And also it was very much in a way of honoring my late mom. It was very much about empowering the creative economy, particularly talent from the continent, to be honest with you. So we opened it up and it was great. I mean, we did some really big things. I guess my background was in talent management. I was doing media strategy, brand strategy, and we applied the same principle. We took on certain talent. We realized we did the kind of audience segment. We realized they might be they had a bigger following in like top of the country. We activated PR along the coastal route, built up their audience and following on the coastal line. Then we activated it across continental. And then all of a sudden we started building and mobilizing that audience, and then you commercialize off it. You know, the same thing we do with brands in terms of different markets and stuff. And it was an amazing journey. I mean, before COVID, we were doing tours in the UK, in the US. We had talent. They were in LA in the studio, and it was all about talent from the continent that we believed actually like had a lot to offer them. You know what I mean? And then, to be honest, we pivoted, and where we are now, and life has an amazing way, because at that time I might have been managing 5 talent. Where now, I mean, we're placing like over 300 artists with different brands across the continent.
Wow.
So there we were building the brand and we were the talent. Like the talent sometimes was just like front, if you know, not a front, but like the
Yeah.
persona. Where now it's like the artists have an idea and they just don't know how to shape it. They don't know how to produce it. They don't know how to, they need access to maybe a certain songwriter or a film writer, or maybe they have an idea, they have a film and they want to release it. They don't have a distribution, or how do they get it out? You know what I mean? Or how do they connect the brand? So we realized that just through pivoting and just throwing our hats up in the air and just figuring out how to basically swim at the same time, we were able to do a lot more by creating a marketplace.
I love that.
And actually enabling everyone, not feeling that we have to kind of be everything.
And then what made you guys step away from talent management?
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's don't expect a thank you. Don't like it. It's tough. And look, I'm my belief with any of my talent is I respect your creative process.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a certain demands and you need a certain space and a way in order to get you there, I don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, but if once the camera's on and we're rolling, bring that sauce and that magic. What we have to do there, I will support you and manage you to make sure you can get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
But when it gets tough, when sometimes, you know, when it's just, it wasn't the best use of my time, just focusing just on 5 talent, where now we've developed an ecosystem where it's impacting over 300 talent, if you know what I'm saying. So it wasn't really, it was just a universal journey, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But would I go back into talent management? I mean, do I see certain talent and I see some guys blowing up? I'm like, oh man, this is such a vibe. I know it just needs a little bit of sprinkle, just that right direction.
Yeah.
Just get them in the room, connection, flare it up. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's amazing. But I think it would be more like selective. And equally, I've just gone of the stage of like talent. If I work with, I'm a creative. I'm a hyper creative.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a talent too.
It's so crazy that
So,
you say that, right? Because I didn't meet you before this, right? And then I read your biography. Okay, executive director of CSI Global. When I saw you now, I literally thought, okay, Davin is probably going to pull up in a suit, you know? And then I actually thought he's actually a creative. It's like, picture an executive, but who's a creative. And when you came in, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, man, you know what? It's you got to know your audience, right?
Yeah.
My audience is the creative economy. I can only evolve it by developing products that frustrated me as a creative.
True.
You know what I mean? So how in my journey was I able to make sure that I was protected and commercialized, if you know what I mean?
I love that.
And that's what you want. I mean, often as I say to my team, my success, to be honest with you, is that my discernment is the baseline. And you give me the greatest compliment when you evolve it. So if I'm the baseline, you got to take it above.
Yeah.
And that's a natural evolution to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation.
That is beautiful, man. So the situation you painted about the DJ who was being played everywhere but not getting the value of it, right? How do you, since you're not doing management anymore, how would you advise creatives to make sure they are protected?
So, I mean, we're still doing a lot.
Yeah.
So in management, I mean, we still work with a lot of talent and we still advise and we still, I mean, it's all about education. But I would say to you, you know, it's changed. If I were to think of the growth, I was trying to get Afrobeat into the US. I was managing DeBunge, and DeBunge is like, you know, king of the Afrobeat. And I was going to meeting executives in Los Angeles saying Afrobeats, this is going to be the next side of the whole thing. And they were looking at me like,
and he currently is.
There. And then you think comes Amapiano and where all of that. And I think it's changed because we're no longer limited by geolocation. It comes back to your phone. Sound can travel now with Spotify or TikTok, a trend, and all of a sudden people can discover it in Europe, South America, in the US. Equally, a lot of foreign talent are looking to grow their audience. We've got over 1 billion people on this continent. And more coming online. Infrastructure is improving. Data is becoming less of a contentious issue in some markets. So for them, it's like, wow, okay, great. If I can get a few more 100 million followers or grow my brand value here. So you're seeing there's a lot of collaboration. The international communities
coming here.
And at the same time, it's making our sounds are sounding more exotic.
Why do you think Amapiano works globally as opposed to hip hop or any other genre we have?
Well, I mean, hip hop comes from the US. And that was like we touched in when we were walking up.
Yeah.
I think if you think in South Africa, hip hop was the biggest genre at one stage. But the problem is, I think a lot of the time we're trying to sound like,
American.
Big Pun or Tupac. Like there were certain sounds. Often I'll play certain sounds when we were trying to like push some local talent. Like some of my American counterparts go, oh, but that sounds like that's like Biggie's track when he released like that. So it wasn't fresh.
And they tried it to. Sorry to cut you. They also tried with Nasty C. I always say you cannot sell ice to Iceland. They already have ice in America. You know what I mean?
I think it's about freshness. And we're in a day and age of access of overload of information. So I think Amapiano has a fresh sound to it. It's a fresh way to move. It's got a vibe to it. So where you're seeing it is taking off.
The world hasn't heard something like that.
And it's sounding great. You can see how it's traveling in the UK and just across the continent. And also, let's not discredit ourselves. I mean, we're a big market on this continent. In South Africa, a big market too.
That is true. How would you say, or for us to sort of like contain it and protect it, how do you think we should go about it? Because you'd find that some of the people that are at the forefront of putting Amapiano forward are actually not knowledgeable or don't have the education to sort of like sustain us. Because now we can say, okay, Amapiano is bubbling and it's been like, 5 years? How do you make sure that in the next 10 years, Amapiano is still a topic of conversation?
I think it's proudly South African, but it's evolved. It's great that other regions on the continent are also doing Amapiano. You're seeing like Nigerian Ghanaian artists or Amapiano artists.
Yeah.
I think protecting it is being authentic in it. Don't lose that. But once something's flowing and it's building momentum, man, I think it's the greatest compliment when something builds bigger momentum than what your intention was. You know what I mean? It's another whole. And Amapiano is flying.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the first wave we've had. Kwaito was also purely South African. And it was, at some points, it was also taking over globally. It's just that we didn't have the infrastructure that we have right now,
And discovery.
And it died.
Correct. It's all about, and also Deep House. I mean, Deep House is one of the biggest Deep House markets as well. But I think, again, Spotify. I mean, how long has Spotify been? Talent Discover, the Shazam, Deezer. And it's interesting. We brought out an interesting platform. And it's taught me a lot about the journey of music.
Yeah.
It's called the CSA Podcast. And the journey was literally, I was in the car, I heard this track and was like, what vibe was in my head? And I get in, I think I just Shazammed it. Then I get in, I put it on Spotify. And then I went and I basically wanted to watch it on YouTube. But we are cross-platform consumers.
Yeah.
So music changes. And what I've noticed now is that radio, which used to make us, is an older generation that really listens to radio. TikTok is for the younger guys where it's discovery.
Yeah.
Shazam and Deezer is a bit of an in-between. But so where a song really crosses over from like a Gen Z to millennial to like become cross over from different age groups, that's when you kind of see that gap, if you know what I mean.
That is beautiful, man. With over 2 decades in culture, right? Where would you advise investors, brands, and creatives to focus into? Or which platform do you feel like, okay, this is what you need to be putting your money on right now?
Look, it's interesting because I had this idea and we're actually building it at the moment. So we got like a little mad laboratory.
Yeah.
I want to get access to like seeing a platform where I get on Monday, I get to know out of the pie chart, this was the score in culture. Out of the chart, was it soccer? Was it sports? Was it music? Was it entertainment? Was it fashion?
Yeah.
Was it nightlife? What piece of culture dominated share voice, which I thought would be so cool because that's kind of how we look at it, right?
Yeah.
It changes and evolves. I would say for a brand, obviously entertainment is a great way to travel because people want to get entertained, and entertainment can be in film and music. But sports is also great. The only thing with sports and where we're trying to, and we've also seen a big gap, a lot of the sports franchise and owners, they refer to their supporters. And a lot of their products is very much like logo on the shirt and hospitality, but there's no fandom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got to evolve into creating fandom products. So I think sports properties need to evolve their fandom. And I think where music and entertainment, the fan interacting with your fans is a lot more, there's some of those products are a little bit more there.
Yeah.
So I would say, but then again, one can also go, but music's so saturated. Every brand's going after it.
Yeah.
But that's also, but no, what genre of music?
Are you
What's the
doing it?
occasion? You know what I mean? What's the brand? It's all about occasional marketing. You know what I mean? Like, what's the occasion you're going after that's going to make me want to consume that product or wear that product in that whole space, you know? So I think it just comes down to the storytelling.
Love that, man. Do you still remember the first moments when you were like, you know what? I've made it in life, or I've made it in this cultural space?
I'm still trying to make it, man.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't think I've, you know, that every time you climb the mountain and you like, and it's the old saying, like, you think you get to the peak, but every time you come up there, you realize, oh gosh, there's another peak. And you get another peak, you know what I mean? And it's just, when you take on a new habit, it seems consumes you. And then you learn it, it becomes autopilot, and then you learn more about it and more about it. So I would say to you, yeah, man, I'm still climbing that mountain. I haven't reached my destination, and I don't want to reach my destination. I want to continuously build, go bigger, evolve it, innovate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be a student of culture. And that's what keeps you young, man. That's what keeps you fresh. You know what I mean? Gives you a bit of a kick in your step.
Yeah.
If I wake up and I know the storyboard tomorrow and I feel like I'm in cut and repeat, no, that's not as much. Can't do that.
That is so true, man. If you could go back to Davin when he started this journey, what would you tell him, and what would you say he should do differently?
Be patient. Be patient. True intelligence is being able to say something that the audience can understand in a language or in a way so that the reader, viewer, listener is able to visualize it and see themselves in the body of work. I wish I realized that sooner and only realized that later, because before, when I started my journey, you know, it starts with ego. I want to say this, I want to prove myself. I need to go after myself. Like, this is my vibe. And now I kind of realize, you know, true success in the creative economy is being able to produce something that connects with most people. That's, I think, is success. If I wish I learned that at a younger age, I think I would have been producing bigger work even then.
I love that so much, man, because our industry is fast-paced, ego-driven, and imagine telling a young person who's trying to maybe buy a Lamborghini to have patience. You know what I mean? So for you to tell that to yourself, it's really telling them.
So again, I'm just on the, you know, the Lamborghini is the instant gratification. That's the qualification of, I'm worth something. And it's an important step in your creative journey to realize your self-worth. If that's what it is. You know what I mean? If that Lamborghini gives you that. But again, I will never, and I said it then when we're in management, and often I won't work with an artist who just wants to be rich and famous. It's because what I've realized in my journey, and where I've been very lucky to work with some top talent, those who have truly made it was the art and how they're obsessed with their craft. And they're very wealthy and very famous was the byproduct because of what they did. They were consistent, you know?
I love that.
And look, you got to be dogmatic. You got to be opinionated in what you believe in. But you got to be also empathetic.
Because you're dealing with human beings.
Dealing with human beings. No one likes to come into a room where someone doesn't shut up and they talk about themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. Sometimes brand behaves that too. You know? They don't ask you, how are you? What are you doing? Like, they don't understand me. And that's the same thing with the artists. Also, the journey in art, a lot of the time, great art comes from some moments in life when you're the most conflicted. And it's that hope of your interpretation, whether it be in the body of film or music, whatever it is, it's from that, from that light through to darkness. So we need a little bit of fiction in terms of interpretation with art. It allows that tension, what pulls us in. Don't lose that, where things just become about comfort. You take things for granted because then you don't evolve. You got to be empathetic, I think, to everyone from all income brackets. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a great artist, you got to be a great storyteller. You got to know how to contextualize your vision and translate it in a way that your audience can identify themselves in their body of work. That is true mastery. That is true.
Thanks.
That's the source. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Beautiful, man. What would you say? What does it take, man?
Resilience. You know, like often I hear this story, someone wanted to do this company, they pitched to 500 people, and someone did 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Just, it takes 10,000 hours you got to get your 10,000 hours. Unfortunately, I think because things are becoming a lot more accessible and we become a society a little bit more about instant gratification.
Yeah.
That resilience and when something's not going your way and just not compromise. That's the one thing I must be honest with me is that when I have an idea, I drive my partners, my business partners sometimes crazy because when I get fixated by it, I don't compromise. I go down it, I come obsessed with it, I look at it, I look it from there, I look it from there, I obsess it, you know what I mean? And then I translate it and I'll pull back, you know what I mean? So if you want to be great, you got to be gentle, be compassionate on yourself, but you've also got to, you got to have the fierce, man. You've got to go against every bone in your body that tries to say to you, don't get out of bed, I'm comfortable because it's raining outside. And you're still going to go for that run in the rain because you know it's going to make you stronger to win the race. You know what I mean? So it's not about comfort. It's about what you got to do to get your vision.
Love that, man. The next 10 years, where do you see CSI Global? What's the vision for the next 10 years?
I mean, we're cooking up some cool things.
Yeah.
I'm in a really cool space. I mean, I've got an amazing team that also make me hungry.
They make you?
Hungry and inquisitive, They make the work more enjoyable because it's like they give you a perspective of like, oh, that's a vibe. I didn't think of it like that. So now collaborating a lot more. The team's growing. But we're doing a lot. I mean, we're opening up as a sports body now. Like I touched on, we've identified, I've got some great partners coming on board for that.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. We're partnering with a few, some of the big media networks. I can't say which one.
Yeah.
Which is great because they understand media. They got the brands. We understand the culture. We're bringing out products now.
That's insane.
Digital products. I mean, I'll be honest, you touched on it. So, I want to know what is a talent's cultural index. It's something I've always wanted and we've developed it. We'll be launching is when we look at a talent, we're not just looking at what is their reach by impressions, reach and engagement. Man, I want to know what is their media retention? Is it tier 1 media talking about them? Tier 3? What are people talking about them on social media? How many times have they been spoken about in the last 7 days? What are their Google searches? Are their brand saves? So it's great. The team and I, we've developed a really great product now, which qualifies what the talent's cultural index, and it's based on certain metrics. Like in music, you can identify an artist's journey from a regional to national to continental to international. And this journey would be, yes, you can go based out of streaming, but then it'll be, is performing at, what's his gigs? Local gigs? Is he performing at a national festival, international festival? What is he done collaboration with an international artist, local? And these are all learnings that we got when we're developing artists. You know what I mean? We'll take an artist. Sometimes what we would do is we'd take them to do a PR trip in the US and halo it back here. And what does that do? Because it builds their brand up. You know what I mean?
Beautiful, man.
And that's what. So, yeah. There's lots in the. I'm really excited for the future, to be honest with you.
Do you think you guys will ever cement yourselves in Johannesburg in terms of having an office this side instead of just only? I think you have an office in Cape Town. In the US?
It's, Los Angeles.
And Nigeria.
We are very much in Joburg, man.
Serious?
Very much. I mean, I'm from Joburg. I grew up in Joburg. The team's here every week. We have a lot of clients that are here. Yeah. But we're not just here, man. But we literally.
That is crazy.
We're in Lagos. Again, with Ivory Coast and go to all the countries I've mentioned, we're actively running campaigns and working in those markets. It's not just from sitting in from far remote. We have teams. So we here, man. We're very much here.
I love that, man.
Me personally, I like coming in and out, but I'm a bit of a hippie at heart, I guess. I like to be that Corona, living. I want to be in the forest. I don't want to be that. But I travel a lot, to be honest with you. So I'm in and out in SA, in Joburg, across the continent. There's a lot we got to do. So yeah,
it's interesting that you said you're from Joburg, right? What has this city done for you? Because for me personally, this city has done so much for me creatively, also in terms of mentally where I'm at just because I live in Joburg. I just want to find out from a person who actually grew up here, how much impact or influence has this city had in the person that you are right now?
I mean, look, I think from anyone where you grow up, you always think it's greener on the grass on the other side. And you always want to get out and get out. So if I think of, I mean, I left Johannesburg when I was 19, went to London. And then I've been in Cape Town now for about 21 years.
Yeah.
But I travel on. I would say Joburg is evolving. One thing I love about Joburg compared to when I was I find Joburg's got way more, the culture is more vibey and popping here, to be honest with you. And I love it from that sense. Like, you just go in, the energy and that part is great, you know what I mean? That part I enjoy. I just wish the only thing that frustrates me is just like, I mean, freaking traffic lights. I came from the airport.
Yeah,
and like,
the infrastructure in Joburg, it's really bad.
that part, because you kind of grow up and you're like, yeah, man, this is a road we used to grow up, and they're like,
now it's bad.
And then I come back and they're like, they still haven't fixed the pothole. But this, we'll keep this culture, not political.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much for coming through. I always end the episode with the guest defining culture. I'm trying to sort of like archive creatives people definition of what culture is. So from you, Davin, Executive Director of CSA Global, a person who's architecting culture, what does culture mean to you, man?
Man, and in all honesty, I'm still learning, but I would teach you culture is literally, it's what identifies, mobilizes a group of people in a community where they see themselves, you know what I mean? And I think it's always evolving. And I say it's from that unemotional kind of point, and then where it comes, and it's being sensitive to how to grow that culture is, what are you going to give back to that culture? How are you going to enhance it? If you're going to just come there just to take from the culture and not give back, the culture won't accept you. You're out before you even know it.
So in one sentence, what would you say culture is?
Life. To be
That
honest,
might be the best one yet, man.
I mean, it's human society. It's life. It's who we are. It's what we identify, where we are, where we come from, or where we're going. That's our culture.
Oh, I love that so much, man. I resonate with that so much. Advice to any creatives coming up?
Man, just go for it. Even when your body says don't, when you're frustrated, just go through it. Sometimes your best work can come to you when you're literally at your most frustrated point. Just keep going. Trust your vibe. And push your craft that eventually where you know what your boundaries are. When you found your boundaries, push even harder.
Be a madman.
Exactly. And you know what? Funny we say mad, you know, mad, motivated, ambitious, and determined. Be mad.
I love that. Bro, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming through, man. I really absorbed so much from you today. I was a sponge. Everything you've done, your way of telling stories, the work you've done. There's certain things we obviously couldn't tap into, but as long as you're still alive, there's still more stories to tell.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Maybe in 10 years you still want me on the show because I'm still doing the thing, you know?
Man. All I want to say is, man, Godspeed on the journey.
Thank you,
going
man.
further.
And you too, man. Keep doing what you're doing for the culture.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.